I'm Debbie.
And I'm Jan.
And welcome to the Villages 365. Today we're going to be answering your questions. So we have a few.
Just a few. From the video, Did You Know? Kathy Albert asked, do you think the Villages is getting too big? I'm sure you'll hear yes and no from certain people. For me, I don't think it's going to affect me at all because we're on the north side and it's a long, skinny Villages. But the only thing I am maybe worried about is the upkeep of something this big. But you have your different districts that take care of it, so I don't see a problem with it. But, you know, who am I to say let's not build more? Because somebody else wants to live in the Villages, and if we don't build more houses, they're not going to be able to have this. So
yeah. And it's interesting because people have said to me, asking the same question, do you think it's too big? And, you know, eventually you guys are going to have a housing collapse because nobody's going to come down there and all of this stuff. And I don't know, I feel like there's an awful lot of human beings on the planet, or in the United States. They're all going to get over 55 one day, and maybe this is the ideal place for every one of them. Who knows?
Yeah.
So obviously it's not. But, you know, so I don't know that there's going to be a big issue with a collapse, but only time will tell. I mean,
well, I guess it really doesn't affect us in that way because we don't plan on leaving, and if
the kids will have to sell
the
it.
kids will have to worry about it. So
yeah,
good luck, kids.
Yeah. So same video. Laura Lampy asked, "What is the Brinson Perry house used for?" Just decoration. They had moved it here, and we did a little thing in that video about it. Basically, they just preserved it, and there's a little dog park behind it, like we reported, and it's just
yeah, it was built in 1887, and when they widened 466, it made it so it was too close to the home, and so then the Villages bought it and restored it, and I think it's cute. I mean, every time I go by there, I'm like, oh, there's that house.
Yeah, just decorative.
Yeah. It's one of the cool decorative things, to preserve something old. I mean, it's not like the Villages have been plowing and taking everything with them. They're, you know, that's just one thing they saved, and I think it's cool.
It is cute.
Marlene Rochen, can you take a kayak out on Lake Sumter? Only with a guide. So they have guided tours for kayaking. And you can take a pontoon or fishing excursion also, but you can't just push a kayak out there and you might get stopped.
No. And if you want to reserve a group to go, because they do accept groups, and I would imagine, I don't know if they have a limit or a minimum people or anything like that. It didn't really say on the website, but you can go to districtgov.org, and that's where you would get in touch with them to book those tours.
Maybe we should do that someday.
Kayak?
Yeah.
With the gators?
There's only one in there.
I've seen some big ones. But I would be brave enough to do that. Okay, let's do it. We're going to do that.
We're going to put that
it's on the list. From Dismindy, 5767. More of a statement, I think. She said, did you know that in order to go on the country club pools, which 2 of them have hot tubs, you have to have priority memberships? Because we were at Orange Blossom showing you where the hot tub was. Yes, there is a hot tub at Orange Blossom and one at Glenview, and yes, you do need to be priority. It's now called Enhanced, and they have a separate membership. It used to be included with your golf membership, and now you have to pay for that separately. So it'll be interesting to see how many people end up with the Enhanced membership after their older memberships expire. We were good until I think March or April. We had to renew, and we didn't renew our pool membership. So, yes, we did know that, and I think you had mentioned that we didn't say that in that video, and that is true. We didn't say that in that video, but we do have a video, and I can put that link below. That was all about, do certain people have priority in the Villages, and that's exactly what we were discussing, is the different priority memberships. So.
And if you're seasonal, or if you only want a couple months, or you're having company, you can buy a month just of enhancement.
For a single or a couple.
Yeah, right. So then when you have your guests visit, they also get that because of your enhancement.
Your membership, yeah. Your guests get what you get.
Okay, from the day trip, Marion Markets, Lori Lampy asked, what is the road construction like on 27441? I kind of wrote down a nightmare right now. There's cones everywhere and big barrels everywhere, and it is chaotic. There's been quite a few
Lots
wrecks
of accidents.
because people are trying to turn where it definitely says don't.
Turn, yeah.
I think the light is now going on 441 that you come out of Sam's.
Is that
one?
working now?
Yes.
It wasn't working for a while.
No,
yeah,
yeah,
I
they've
haven't
got
been over
that
there.
up, which will help quite a bit. But
To get in and out of the businesses, you kind of had to go all the way around their back and kind of backtrack, and people didn't like that, and so they were cutting and making bad
when
decisions.
it's done, it's going to be nice, I hope, that you'll have that middle lane that you can go straight through. You don't have to worry about someone turning. So it's very wide. They're putting sidewalks along there, which I would think is very noisy, but very nice for some people that might want to walk along that. And I think it will be nice, but it's going to be well.
Yeah, definitely going to be well.
Good question.
From Your Questions Answered, our April edition, Deborah Hill asked, or stated, I had to ask Google to find out what a home bird cage is. So we thought we would answer that in case other people had the same issue or question. So a bird cage keeps all the villagers in. No, it's basically your screen and lanai, and we have covered lanais, and then there are some that are just open, and that is what is usually referred to as the bird cage part. So
right, and I did have someone when we first bought our house. I said something about a bird cage, and this is when we lived in Missouri, and she's like, "Well, how many birds do you have?" So
0.
Yeah.
It just helps keep the bugs and the leaves and the dirt out. And we don't have a lot of flying bugs. I don't feel like in Illinois, if we sat out in the evenings, we would be just eaten alive by mosquitoes. And I don't find that as much here, but I do find there are a lot of leaves and a lot of other debris flying through the air that it's nice to keep out. And some people do have pools that are uncovered. And I think that's really nice, but I would think you get a lot of stuff in them, and so a lot of people with pools have bird cages.
If you look at the screen over there, you can see how much junk is plastered, on our screen. So, yeah, it does keep out a lot of the stuff, and it still gets dusty, even with your bird cage or.
It's still outdoors for sure.
Yeah. The next one of your questions answered, Anthony asked. Oh, this is about the contractor. Did you use the same contractor each time? Were you satisfied with the work? Would you be comfortable giving recommendations? Which we did. And yes, we were our side-laws did our first makeover or whatever, knocked a partial wall down, did some tiling, and put a different top in the kitchen. And then we had Fortin build the
And I know somebody else that used. Did you like him, Fortin?
He's good at what he does. Very good at what he does. He's a higher priced, and he shows you different things that he's done. He did a good job, but Mark knows a lot about building stuff, and so they clashed a little bit because he's very stubborn. But there was a big fight over the door. But when we went to do our third stall garage, he came in as a low bid, and so I had to tell Pierre that, would you do our third stall, and you won't have to deal with Mark. You can deal with me.
Well, and I have some family. My dad and Anita they converted their covered part of their lanai into a extended dining room area, and they used him also, and she was very happy with him.
Yeah, he's very good, and there's things he won't do because he doesn't want his name on it.
Well, and it was funny because when we moved here then, and we were going to rehab our home, and we do have a video called it's titled Home Improvement or something like that, but anyway, I'll go ahead and put that in the link, but that could kind of answer some of these questions. We did a bunch of renovations too, and I did call him and ask him if he would be interested in the job. And it was interesting because it wasn't a new structure. Mm-hmm. He said, Debbie, I'm just going to be a general contractor. And he goes, I'm going to sub everything out anyway. He goes, so all I'm going to do is mark up everything 25% or whatever it was and take your money. And so I respected that because he could have done it and just been like, oh yeah. And so basically I was our general contractor and I hired all the subs, but we were just doing basically very cosmetic things, windows and floors and, paint. And we weren't doing a new structure. You guys did a new structure, two new structures.
Yeah.
My dad did basically a new structure. So anyway, I would highly recommend him also from that standpoint too.
And if he thinks it doesn't look good, he really doesn't want to put his name on it, and I respect that also.
Yep.
And then our third, where we gutted the inside, Roberto's Flooring, he gets a contractor, and then he's the general on that, and he knows. I mean, they did a tremendous job. So, we were very happy with all three.
And we used Floor Masters for our flooring, and we were very happy with them as well. They did our big baseboards. We made the thicker baseboards, and they did our floors, and we were very happy with them as well. So there's some good contractors around the area.
I would ask around, though.
Yeah, definitely ask for recommendations. So, let's see. I think it was the same video. Laura Lampe asked, does the developer even have authority to prohibit rentals of less than 30 days? So the big hullabaloo right now is that VRBOs and corporations are buying up homes here in the villages and using them for daily rentals, and it is creating a lot of aggravation for some of the residents that are full-time when they have a rotating door next door. So can the developer do that? Not currently based on the decks and bylaws. Something has to be written in the decks and bylaws. So the rules, when the developer is going to develop an area, they set the CC&Rs, the decks and bylaws. Those are already set in all of these areas. So to go backward is going to be kind of hard. The only thing that I will say is that I did read in some of it's a little breezy here today, which is nice. It's very comfortable out.
Yes, it's very nice.
One of the things that I did read in one of the sets of the decks and bylaws, because I had a friend looking to purchase a home, was that it did say that if something is happening in your area that affects your use and recreation of your property, the villages has the right to amend the decks and bylaws. I think there could be an argument made for daily rentals is affecting the way I am enjoying my property. So I think that if people have those in their decks and bylaws, you might want to get them out and read them. But that would be something that maybe then, I don't know if you need to use an attorney or go talk to the villages and see what they say. And if they say, maybe talk to an attorney, see if they can't talk to them. That's about the only way that I could see them, the developer going and doing that. I need to go. We honestly, neither of us have those issues in our neighborhoods.
Right now.
So, right now. And so the thing is, I really haven't been overly concerned about it. So I really haven't gone back and read ours. And it's funny because our homes are older. My decks and bylaws are, I think, 3 pages. There's no rules, except that I need to let them know anytime I'm leaving my home for more than a week.
The developer,
So,
you have
the
to call the
developer.
developer and tell them you're gone.
So, but I would be curious if mine read the same about the enjoyment of my property. But it's going to take some stuff for that to happen.
And it is, you will read, there's a lot of unhappy people that, unfortunately, especially in the news section, there's companies, buying for VRBOs.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I heard, I can't remember, it might have been Laura, said that she had watched some other YouTubers, and they said that a man in Richmond bought a home, and I think it was a villa, and that every other home on the street was owned by corporations. I find that interesting. The Villages has always been, they don't discriminate, but they have been very particular about their buyers as far as when I was buying, because I was not of age, they were like, and so is a corporation, what's the age thing? How is that going to play into the 55 and up? I don't know. There's a lot of, I think, loopholes, questions, and things that could be asked and pushed. And if I was having that issue, I would probably be at the front of the line pushing, to be honest. So.
Yep. Well, because it ruins your lifestyle. So.
Yes.
Lorraine Zuver, is there a minimum age for the clubs? Well, technically, you have to be 19, and you need the village's ID, and if you're a renter, then you get an ID while you're renting. But they do have camps for children, different camps for grandchildren that they
That's
run.
always cool.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that use them, and they say they're wonderful.
Yes, yeah.
And the kids actually look forward to coming back to visit
have
Grandma
one
and
over
Grandpa.
spring break, and they have one in the summer, right?
And Christmas.
And
So, I think over a lot of the holiday
but
times.
if you're technically supposed to be 19 to live here, and mowers. Big loud mower.
It is a mower. It sounded like a big truck.
Yeah, it's a mower.
It is a mower.
Anyway, you're supposed to be 19.
And somebody did point out, one of our viewers had pointed out that some of the clubs are age restricted only because, like, they have a south of 60 club. So that's people under 60 years old or whatever, north
Baby
of,
boomers,
yeah, something like that. So there may be a club that you would have to qualify for, but those are, I mean, those obviously from the name you would probably.
Well, yeah, our
that.
neighbors over here, they're in the 50s club, people that are in their 50s, and then they're like, what happens when all
They
of
say you get
then
bumped.
do we call ourselves the 60s club, or do we go to this? They like their group, but then they're going to have to someday change their name to 50s
Something
plus,
else.
or, you know.
Yeah.
But
That's
they're like,
interesting.
what are we going to do when we turn 60?
All right. We took a quick break for the landscaper to finish out there.
A mower
so-
break.
Yes. So our next question was from Gregory. Sorry. Our next question was from Gregory Simmerling, and he asked, "Is it hard to live in the villages if you're not political?" I feel like no. I think that there are a lot of people here that are very passionate about their politics.
Right? Like anywhere else.
And I am. I'm very passionate about my beliefs and my politics. However, I don't feel the need to share them with everybody. There are very few people, actually, that I choose to share my feelings with. And so the only thing that I will tell you is there are golf carts with signs on them. There are flags that fly. There are signs in people's windows representing their thoughts about pro somebody, anti somebody, things like that. It does get a little bit charged during the election season, or it did at least during the last two. So that you will never, I mean, I don't know. Do I think it's hard to live here? No, because I can drive by somebody that has a sign on their cart or their house or whatever that says something contrary to my beliefs, and I can drive by and be fine with it.
Yeah.
But
if you want to argue with someone, you can argue with someone, but
so I choose to not let it bother me. I choose to live my life happily, and so I guess it depends on your personality.
right, yeah, and there's a lot of people that are very into the Democratic Club or the Republican Club or the Independence Club, and that's their passion, and that's their right.
Well, and they had golf cart rallies. They had them for both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, I know one of my neighbors, we were coming out of Laurel Manor for something, and she said, "Oh, we're all here for the Biden parade," and there was a bunch of golf carts, and that's where they were staging. There was a big Trump rally around one of the squares. So, I mean, stuff does happen, but it doesn't always have to be where you are. And
Right.
if you don't want to be involved in it, then
Yeah,
you can avoid it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gardener Earth Guy. I'm near Pensacola and would like to meet single women in the villages. If I sent you flyers, would you hand them out for me?
No. Sorry. Iron 12 asked, watched a video of a long line of cars getting gas. Is there a gas shortage down there? And my immediate response was, no, there's no problem at all. And I said something to my husband, and Leo said there was a gas shortage down in like Miami.
Oh.
And one of our other viewers actually commented, and she said she lived in that area down in southern Florida, and she said, yes, we did have a short one. She said it's resolved now, but, and so I wasn't even aware of that, but we did not have an issue here.
No, not at all.
So, no. But we always appreciate your questions, and we appreciate laughing and enjoying your diatribe with us as well. So we just try to keep it friendly and upbeat.
Exactly.
And so if you like this video, hope you watch another one, and thanks for always watching.
Like and subscribe.